Mark. I'm standing here with Byron from God Forbid, lead vocalist. StereoKiller.com. Dude, been a fan. Seeing you guys play at VFWs were like sworn enemy. It's the shit back then.
Yeah, man.
It's still the shit now. I'm really stoked seeing you guys play tonight. You know, just thinking back, like playing shows back at like Chrome upstairs.
Yeah.
You look back and you see what kind of shit you're playing now. What's that been like, man? Just like seeing the growth of your band like that over time.
I mean, it's been pretty cool. You know, I mean, like the fact that what we're doing now is actually become a focal point in the rock industry is pretty nice to see. You know, for a long time, like heavy music was underground. It's still underground now, but you know what I mean. It's getting the light that like all those earlier bands at the time, like the new metal bands, you know, took up. So I guess we kind of just transplanted into that phase of it. So like we're the new fucking whatever new metal genre.
Far from new metal. You guys kind of took that like terrible genre and we're just like, yo, this is for real.
Yeah, I mean we write real shit.
Yeah, dude.
So
Termination is still one of my favorite records.
Way over there, wasn't it? This is just for me and him. You guys gonna play Dark Waters or Broken Promise tonight?
We're not gonna play. We haven't played Dark Waters in years, man. Broken Promise, we sometimes pull it out. We don't like when we do our own thing, we play it. But like when we're on festival type situations, we have to cut the song in half. So we just get right to the meat and potatoes of the heavy section.
Well, that means it's gonna be severe mosh.
Well,
me and him with the camera.
We'll see. You know, I mean, we're kind of switching it up a little bit today, just because we're doing some live recording. So we want a little difference between, you know, what we did yesterday and what we're doing today. But I mean, it might make its appearance at some point in the set tonight. We'll see.
You're wearing a Predator necklace?
Yeah, man.
Dude, can you get that? That's. Buddy of mine's he works over at the Troc. He's got a whole Aliens and Predator tattoo all across his back. It's my favorite franchise of all time.
Yeah, this was made for me for $9 ago. Eric Glass, he makes glass beads and things like that. So he made this for me, and then I got like a hair tie that's a giant Predator out of glass.
Hell yeah.
That he made for me. So
that is so awesome.
Yeah, I'm a huge Predator fan. You know, it's my family, my background.
And you're from Jersey, right?
Yeah, man, born and raised.
How far up north are you guys?
I'm about an hour and a half from here.
Okay, like Central?
Yeah, so I'm right in the middle.
I love it out there, dude.
Yeah, I prefer living there. That's hot. I wish I was riding my bike today.
I was telling him on the way up here, like the first time I ever was at a show and was looked down and saw like blood all over my shoes on the floor was at you guys with Lamb of God and 6 Feet Under. Remember after 9/11 that tour happened?
Yeah, Millennium tour.
Yeah.
Pandier was on that tour in Darkest Hour.
Yeah. I think you guys covered At the Gates.
Yeah, we used to cover At the Gates, Sepultura, Pantera, Slayer.
I never saw the Pantera. Saw the At the Gates.
Yeah, we used to do Strength Beyond Strength.
One of the best Pantera songs.
We do a couple of songs. We don't play them anymore. Like sometimes we do it like on a headline set when we're just in the middle of the set cutting up, wanting to have some fun. We'll just play some shit.
Actually, the last
minute. What's up?
Byron.
Tom B. This is the motherfucker that actually signed us to Central Media.
Seriously?
Back in the day, yeah.
Oh man.
Before he left Central Media.
He
moved up to better and greater things. All right. So yeah.
The last.
He's got a Sepultura tattoo.
Tom B, man.
The last time I saw you guys headline, I've been out of the loop for a while. This is a wild tour. Because you guys headlining at the Troc. You had A Life Once Lost open.
Yeah.
Before they were like what they are now. Blood Has Been Shed. And I can't remember who else it was.
Might be a Full Blown.
So that was right when Better Days was like the single.
It might have been Full Blown Chaos. Like when we did that, we also did a run with All That Remains and Trivium, you know, and then on that run we did Avenged Sevenfold. Yeah, that was in the middle of the country. Yeah, it was a small run.
I just remember seeing you guys like play the Kill Time, stuff like that. Like
Kill Time, Solid 13. Used to go across the street, hang out at the bar, get some drinks while we waited.
Yep. You know the one girl down at Kill Time, the girl that works at that bar down the way. She ended up working for MTV. Lulu, whatever her name was.
Lulu.
She worked over there by the Kill Time. She used to sell 40s to all the young kids. Now, there she is.
What are the odds? Now she's married to fucking Lala, you mean?
Y'all Lala.
She's married to fucking
So hot.
Carmelo Anthony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No shit, man.
That's
What
who she's married to now.
What shit out nowadays, like music wise, like the newer stuff? I find myself not listening to many newer bands lately. What's newer stuff that's coming up that you're like, you know, you're way into? Is it like newer hardcore, newer metal?
To be honest, man, like I really don't listen to too much new stuff. Like I listen to it, but I can't. It's hard for me to get into it.
Yeah.
You know, just because like I don't know. I'm not even gonna say I'm a snob about it. It's just a lot of it just seems to be rehashed. I'm gonna probably catch flack for that, but you know, it's just, you know,
Especially for me, from being from Jersey.
well, it's not even that. It's just, you know, a lot of the big bands that are out now, like Lamb of God, fucking Killswitch, Shadows Fall, you know, all those bands, like I came up through the ranks with them. You know, we were doing it when it wasn't cool to be doing it.
Yeah.
You know, and now people are taking bits and pieces of things that we've done and converting it into new shit, which is cool. I mean, because that's what, you know, that's what we did.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's just,
It's so revolutionary at the time, in a sense.
yeah, I just think that, you know, people nowadays don't really have an understanding of where they're stealing from.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, they don't really investigate heavier bands. Like, you got these little 10-year-old kids out here that think, like, this brand new band is the heaviest shit out.
Yeah.
But it's like, motherfucker, you need to go back.
I used to think the same way, man. I'm 22 years old, and I remember being 8-9 years ago hearing like Hatebreed, like Rise Brutality, and all my older friends being like, dude, that ain't nothing, man. Like, and then them handing me like a Fury of 5 record from North Jersey, which I was getting back to with Jersey, like coming from that area where there's so many influential bands.
Yeah.
And then you're coming up in the scene and just hearing like older stuff, like, you know, Determination.
Yeah.
You know, like
I mean, the scene has changed a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's definitely changed a lot. There's a lot of ADD people now.
Yeah.
You know what I noticed? It seems the bands that were ripping off you guys and like Lamb of God last year are now doing the, let's take those like breakdowns and put those Meshuggah pull-off things. So now everything's like now. Right.
Yeah, I mean, we did all that shit back on the early records.
Yeah.
So it's like it's old to us. It's like, oh, you're doing that, and then we get flagged for some shit because like some of our songs, like my favorite song is "Don't Tell Me What to Dream" off the album.
Really?
Yeah, because like basically Doc had came up with this song that was kind of influenced from something that Dallas wrote on Earth's Blood, Bat the Angels. So he took that idea, and I was like, yo,
Cammy, man.
he was like, yo, we need to make a 2-step song. And I was like, all right, let's fuck with it, see what happens. And then, you know, it just
coming out great.
Yeah, just boom. You know, it's just like being able, like for us, the key is always being able to one up ourselves. So we always try and push the envelope as much as you can. You know what I mean? So
absolutely.
It's like we'll take something and we'll do it because we know we can do it and we can pull it off and we make it sound great. So
like I remember hearing, you know, like Earth AD and stuff like that, and then years later hearing Sepultura records with strings on them.
Yeah.
I was like, this is the most outlandish shit I've ever heard. But you know, they set the tone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially with bands like you that are at that point.
You know, and innovators usually end up, you know, falling to the wayside, but you know, our catalog will always stay strong. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean? Because
hell yeah,
we were kind of ahead of the trend, or you know, just with the trend at the time, and we still stay true to who we are. When we write.
There's so many bands like that. Like, you know, you guys, you know, Hatebreed, like look at Life of Agony, River Runs Red. Like, I think that record was so far ahead of its time.
It is. That's why they still have a career now.
Yeah.
Because of that record. Because everyone loves that record.
Yeah.
He became a woman, and people are still like, yo, this is still the shit. No
Yeah.
one cares.
It's the shit, but that whole transgender thing, man, whatever.
To each his own.
Well, I mean, you know what? I'm not gonna hate on him. I mean, obviously he felt he was a woman trapped in a man's body. But you know, I mean,
we all deal with that from time to time.
Yeah, but you know, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, if he's happier now, then happy for him. But you know,
power to him.
That's just not me.
Yeah.
But,
no, like thinking back about those old tours, I think I saw you guys with Lamb of God more than any other bands combined together, including Sworn Enemy.
Yeah. Oh, we used to always play with Lamb of God. Like first show we ever played with them was out in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, in this dude's fucking basement.
Yeah.
We played that show, and then
I think
we always just had the camaraderie between us. You know what I mean? So, you know, I'm happy that they're up and moving on, and Randy's back home, and
Yeah.
Everybody's having a good time.
That fucking disaster.
That was some bullshit. That was some bullshit.
I think I got a flyer actually. My boy that does my tattoos used to bounce at the Electric Factory and do security. I've seen flyers of you guys with Blood for Blood, like all kinds of bands that I never, just like you said, with being ahead of the time, ahead of the curve. Like, you know, you play with so many genres of bands because you reach out to that broad of an audience.
Well, I mean, that was our whole plan. Like, we wanted to write music that could, you know, transcend, you know, lines. You know what I mean? So we take a little bit of everything and we make it, God forbid.
Yeah, exactly.
There was a show back in the day. This was like my first real introduction into like hardcore bands and metal bands coming together. It was a hate breed show at the It was pretty much like the first Stillborn Fest before we called it that. And it was the Life Once Lost, like talking like Robotic Empire era, Life Once Lost.
Yeah.
And then you guys, E-Town Concrete, Converge.
Yeah, Jamie's always been a big supporter of God forbid.
Yeah.
You know, he's always like anything that he could do to help us out, he would do it. You know what I mean? And you know, we appreciate that, you know, because, you know, Jamie is a big name, you know, in the hardcore scene and the metal scene, you know, and for him to appreciate what we do and understand where we come from and just be honest and real with us. And you can't really ask for more than that. You know what I mean? There's some real people in this shit, and then there's some fakers. So,
and you know,
we've been fortunate enough to meet real people who are like, you know, down for the cause.
And you know, I think noticing in the hardcore and metal scene, I came up in all those scenes, you know what I mean? And I remember a time when people didn't label things, you know, people have such a way of just putting like genres on subgenres on subgenres. And to see you do like Jamie Josta that host shows on MTV, put out a Kingdom of Star record and then do Ice Pick. And you know what I mean? And just, and the scenes, they always have a way of recycling themselves, and the fake never lasts. They never do. And which is, you guys are still here to talk about it.
Yeah, man, you know, it's been a hard road. I mean, it hasn't been easy, and anyone that thinks it's been easy, they
never lived it.
Because it ain't easy at all.
Exactly.
You know?
There's been a few bands I've interviewed so far, and I'm just thinking, like, I'm interviewing you guys now, but like, the longevity of you is not gonna last much longer. You know? I'm actually doing one today a little bit. Like, you guys,
it's hard, man.
What else to say to you is because you haven't been around long enough to really show that you're gonna last the test of time because you're riding the trend. You know?
It's hard, man. You can always tell the real from the fake shit.
Absolutely.
Over time,
and
you start to see.
That's why we all stick together, man. All my friends that I came up with in the hardcore scene, we all stick together, man. You watch people drop off, and you're just like,
we lost a couple here and there, but you know, people die off.
That's just part of growing up, and with being around for so long, and you know, talking about all the times you guys had. Is there what's your favorite memory from back in the day, or favorite memories if you can think of?
I think
from playing those basements.
Memory to me is we did a show in South Carolina at a VFW hall. We played the show. God forbid played the show. Our friends in this band called For the Love Of.
A great band.
The show.
And then, hell yeah.
Which means Newfound Glory played that show before they blew up.
Really?
Yeah. Like that memory right there is kind of just weird. Cause like that was like back when it was all about CD Walkmans. So basically, at that show, like we were pimping ourselves. Like I walk around with a CD Walkman, and like I, you know, give people test runs so they can hear the albums. We were selling records like that. You know? So I mean, that kind of shit sparks memories, and then just everything that's happened. I mean, there's so many memories, man. Like I have to really sit down and think about it. If I did, it would be insane. I mean, there's some good shit and there's some bad shit. And there's some real funny shit. But
take it all the same.
Yeah, but you know, I mean, it's a labor of love, man. That's why we're still here.
Absolutely.
You know?
I was like, I was thinking about it the past 2 days. VFW, and like here they are, and it's a big ass tour. Like I'm really looking forward to seeing Killswitch today. I haven't seen him with Jesse since he left.
Well, the last time we played with them and it was Jesse, like they were opening up for us. And that was like when the record first came out, you know, and then they fucking skyrocketed.
Those guys, and not to hate on Howard at all, but I just think Jesse's really suits him so much better.
Well, I mean, Howard is a great vocalist. He came in and did what he needed to do, and you know, sometimes you get caught up with music and life, and you know, sometimes you need to take a different path.
I think I was a bigger Jesse fan, but I can't think of anybody else filling him in other than Harold. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, those two make Killswitch.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
Past, present, and future.
Yeah.
So I mean, you definitely have a distinct sound when you hear, you know, that riff come in. You automatically hear whatever voice you favor in your head automatically.
Absolutely. They're a great time to see live. I think the last time I saw them was probably about 7 years ago. And their guitar player, I can't remember his name, but he came out in like wrestling like underwear with like a cape on. And I remember
does that crazy shit.
Yeah.
Adam D, crazy knucklehead.
Like, I always think back about seeing Killswitch opening for Shadows Fall at the truck. I think Most Precious Blood opened up. Like, I'm talking like old Most Precious Blood before the new vocalist. And next thing you know, Headbangers Ball Tour comes around. Killswitch and Lamb of God are like, yo, we're the shit.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Unearth opening up shows, and there was like 20 people now. Now those bands are all gigantic. You guys definitely lasted the test of time, man.
Yeah, man. You know, I mean, that's all you can really ever hope for when you write something that it goes on after you're done.
Yeah.
You know.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, but if I heard the Dark Waters or Broken Promise tonight, there would be like one of those old school Broken Bottle mosh. Like I always hear a story about Mike Score from All Out War moshing during Dying Fetus at a Kill Time show with a goddamn saw, like a saw that he found. He's moshing like, dude, you're moshing with a saw. Like,
that was one of the first tours we ever went on. It was All Out War, Shadows Fall, God forbid, yo. That was our first U.S. tour ever.
That's fucking
that
awesome.
That gave us the bug, yo. Doing that tour.
That's the shit.
Yeah.
Tour.
It was fun, man, you know, but it was different times, man. It was like fucking 12 years ago.
It's funny seeing like the time difference between 12 years ago and now, and how tours are just like, it's so different now. Like downloading records where personally, if I download an album and I like it, I'm gonna buy it off the record, the band on vinyl, because I collect vinyl. I'm not gonna buy a CD. You know,
vinyl's hard, dude.
Yeah. I just like, you know, I do and don't like downloading for the fact that it robs bands. But if I download something and the record sucks, I don't want to have to have wasted my money on it. But like a band like you guys, like I'm gonna download the record and check it out. I want to buy it on fucking vinyl because I want it for my collection. I think if people would adhere to that more, that would just work so much better for the music industry.
Well, I mean, the music industry has fucked itself.
Yeah,
you know,
I think so, absolutely.
They could have made things so much easier, but they still stuck with the old model. I mean, you're in an age where technology is key, so why not safeguard against the bullshit? You know what I mean? Like everyone gets mad at Lars for what he did, but I mean, really,
he's keeping himself safe.
He's keeping himself safe, but if more people had gotten behind what he was doing or came up with a better solution, then I think they would have safeguarded themselves. But you know, I think a lot of people download now just to be like, fuck you, because they didn't understand what Lars was trying to say.
And it's crazy, back then, like Napster was the big deal, the big enemy, and then it's like you look at where you're at now, and it's like Napster ain't shit. You know what I mean? Compared to
if they would have fought to keep Napster legal and had you pay like they do now with Spotify, and shit like that, then it would be pretty cool.
How does Spotify work? I mean,
you get a free version and then you get the upgrade version. If you get the upgrade version and you pay like $10 a month,
I have that.
It gives you every album of every artist that you want. You know what I mean? You just punch in the name and they'll give you their whole catalog.
Yeah, and that
you can listen to it, but you can't download it.
Right. Yeah, it's free streaming. But now, my question is now, as far as like, how does that work? Like your relationship with Spotify? Like, do you have to agree with them? Like, do they contact you?
I don't know. That I should find out, but I really don't know the answer to that.
Because I played in a hardcore band for about a year, and we never went anywhere or anything like that. But we're on Spotify. Like, when did this happen? You know what I mean? And it's awesome that I can be on the same sort of like streaming thing as God forbid or any other band, and that's cool that kids can look up my band. That's awesome. But I never understood how that worked.
Yeah, I mean, all that shit turns out to be pennies on the dollar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As far as getting a residual compensation and shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to turn it into a money thing, but you know,
dude, it is.
A lot of bands, you know,
you gotta eat too.
Yeah, you got bills to pay like everyone else. So
I think we gotta get wrapped up.
It's a little crazy, but
we gotta wrap this up, dude. I got one more interview, but awesome.
I will see you inside, man. We will rock it out tonight.
I'm looking forward to it, Byron. It was awesome, man. I really appreciate it.
One other thing